Okay, and welcome to my video diary for March about my hip recovery. It is wrecked. My back was absolutely wrecked as well. I've had a bad back now for about a year and a half. And I'm now finally at a point where I can really start to do some meaningful physiotherapy and get moving. So I now follow the old calisthenics routine, Convict conditioning. I started from the beginning. And I'm also following the Simplistic mobility method by Morrison, which is super helpful. So I've got some comparison photos I'm going to go through in a bit. Before I start my strength training, I always start with 5 minutes of skipping just to warm up, which you can see in a minute. I absolutely suck at it, but eventually I will get better. I only do 5 minutes because my hip doesn't take much more than that, and if it starts to ache, I stop before that point. Anyway, I guess this is a video in which I hope people would be interested in seeing progress made, but also mainly I think it's probably just for me, so I can look back and be like, God, I've come a long way and things are a lot better now. Anyway, enough of me skipping. Okay, so this is my workout routine for March. We'll start in the top left with push-ups. I'm doing incline push-ups or table push-ups. So I'm aiming for 3 sets of 40. And we're at 3 sets of 38 at the moment, which is, it's tough. It's really tough going and it's really tiring. But, hey ho, there we go, cracking on. I'm doing horizontal pulls, which are I'm doing from a bar with some rings. Again, really, really tough going. Jackknife squats are hands down on a table. Again, I'm after 3 sets of 40 of those, and I'm getting close to the end with those ones. And then frog raises are essentially lying leg raises, but you bend your legs on the way up. So you bend your knees and then you straighten them, and then you do the negative portion down. I've actually added in the lying bridges, which you're not meant to start until much later on in the routine. The reason for that is because my back and the front of my hips are incredibly tight. So I have been adding that in as an extra day, and it's been, a good way to give myself rest from the other movements, and also, a good way to just work out, well, my hips and my back and everything else. So that's the routine as it is at the moment. I will show you some footage of the exercises now. Yeah, so apologies for the terrible footage. These are my table push-ups, and essentially you can just see me trying to keep my elbows in but struggling massively. I don't know if you can see, but my lower back is really arched, and that's me trying to be as straight as possible, and that is one of the places that the problems are coming from. As I say, I have that hip problem, but it's also stemming from the lower back. My physiotherapist has told me that if I don't fix my back, I can't fix my hip. So lots and lots of stretches to do. So we'll smash those out. Okay, so here are the jackknife squats. So my hands are on the table and I'm trying to get as low as I can. And as you'll see in a second, that is not very low at all. I'm actually really, really happy with this progress. I know that looks terrible, but compared to a few months ago, that is incredible. And I will show you some comparison pictures in a moment. All right, finally you have got the ring pull-ups, which unfortunately is a terrible angle. And again, I'm trying to keep my elbows as close in as possible. They really feel like they're touching my sides, but I can really see now that they are not. So that is terrible. And then we'll just skip forward and I'll show you the leg raises. Okay, so here you can see the frog leg raises. So I'm going to start with my knees bent, up they go, and then down for the negative, nice and slow. I'm actually straightening my legs as much as possible, and again, looking at that now, I can see that they are not very straight at all, but I'm really trying. That is a real struggle at the top for me, and actually the negative is not so bad, but that L position there is absolutely brutal. Okay, so as promised, here are the photo results from the mobility course that I'm following, which is the Simplistic Mobility Method by Tom Morrison. I love this. It's very simple. It's easier to do in terms of you don't need any equipment, but it's very, very challenging. So on the left, you can see me at the start. That would have been January. In the middle is February, and March, which is the most recent one, is on the far right. You can clearly see the difference in progression. I'm really happy with that. It's still a very difficult position for me to hold the squat, but like it's getting better. Again here, moving from left to right, January, February, March, you can see that my arm, my shoulder mobility is improving, and that's just a constant battle to try and get it to go upwards. So yeah, in a right state there, but slow progress. Cool, so this is the 90-90 position. As you can see on the far left, that was January. I couldn't hold myself into that position. I had to use my hand. In the middle, Feb, I'm getting there. And March, I'm still really struggling, but at least I am able to hold that position a little more vertically than the other one. Okay, so this is my good side, and you can see a vast difference. And what's quite cool here is that even though it is my good side, you can still see improvement. On the far right, I'm able to hold my hands out, pointing at my front knee, which I wasn't able to do previously. So yeah, pretty stoked with that. Last one's the toe touch. And here, even though my fingers don't really seem to be getting any closer to my toes, you can clearly see a large difference in the back arching ability, which is really nice, especially since on the far left, it just doesn't seem to bend at all. On the far right, it bends, but only in the middle. And then, sorry, in the middle, it bends, but only in the middle. And then the far right, I seem to have a somewhat more of a consistent curve throughout the spine. So that is a good sign. Okay, finally moving on to the routine for April. Everything is in 5-minute increments. Sulim Tao is a martial arts warm-up. It's a static kind of full body stretch, which I do just to kind of prepare my body. I then do 5 minutes of skipping or until my knee or hip hurts. I then do some warm-up sets for Convict conditioning. So those are regressions of the exercises that I'm doing. After that, I do 5 minutes of handstands work, and I'm yet to get any footage of that because I haven't done any yet, but next month's video, I shall show you some of that. And then we're into our sets. We do our first set for Convict conditioning. We do some 90-90 pushbacks, which are sitting in the 90-90 position, pushing your back leg back into internal rotation. I find that this really helps relieve tension around my groin and my bad hip. So I'm really going in for those. Then set 2, and then 5 minutes of a deep squat. So at the moment this is assisted, but eventually this will just be me just sitting in a deep squat for 5 minutes, chilling out, playing on TikTok or whatever. And then finally set 3, and that's the end of the routine. So I do that every other day, 3 days a week, and then I do the Simplistic mobility method in the off days. So that is a 20-minute kind of dynamic stretching routine, which is actually really hard work. And then on the 7th day, the Sabbath, not necessarily a Sunday, I rest. Okay, this is a list of everything that hurts, and if it's got a tick on it, it's stopped hurting. So there's a lot of me that hurts at the moment, especially in specific situations. But the idea is that I'm just keeping track of what's sore, and and it just allows me to see. Again, it's just another visual marker of progress being made. So there's lots of lower back pain, lower knee pain, just knee pain, hip pain, all sorts of stuff going on there. Everything hurts all the time, and before you all tell me that I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing, please note that I have been to a physiotherapist. I have cleared what I'm doing with my physio, and we are happy with the progress that we're making. So there we go. I also didn't mention that I do a 10-minute routine every day in the morning and in the evening of specific movements to help with the hips. But I will go into what those are another time because this video is already 10 minutes long. Crikey. Okay, so last thing, this is what I look like. And yeah, so reasonably skinny with a bit of middle-aged podge, which I'm hoping to remove at some point by eating lots of vegetables. From the side, yeah, this is me from the side. You can really see my lower back is arched, and I'm really doing my best to stand up straight, but it's just not happening at the moment. However, there have been improvements. Okay, cool. So, that's it. Let me know in the comments whether you enjoyed this video. Let me know if it's useful to anyone. Again, it's just really for me to look back on, hopefully in a decade, and be like, oh my God, I can do one-armed handstand push-ups or whatever. And oh my God, I was wrecked and now I'm not. But anyway, there we are. Cool.